Hello and welcome. This is Ruth and I have two really beautiful die sets to share with you today, and this one is called the Ornate Oval Box die set and this is the Delightful Diamond Box die set. So they're released at the same time and they're sort of designed to go together, but obviously you can use them separately. Now this one, the oval one, has 24 dies and the diamond one has 23, and you can see I've already got my large magnetic stand out here because I'm going to open these out and set them on top, and then we're going to have a very quick look through the dies, and then I'm going to just dive right in and see what we can make with them. So as I usually say, if you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to do that. Hit the notification bell and follow along with it if you like. Give it a big like at the end of it, give it a thumbs up, and I'd really love you to leave me a little comment. So now, with all that out of the road, we can have a look here. So the oval box itself here, I'll set this one over, maybe we'll just do this one first. The really good thing when you open the packets up is that you can see there are instructions in there. So it doesn't look too difficult, but I haven't actually made it yet. So hopefully, if I make any mistakes on the way, I'll be able to not include those in the video, and then you'll just see how to do it very easily. Hopefully, that's what I always try to do anyway. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. It does actually look fairly straightforward. There are 8 different steps and they do look pretty straightforward. I would say this is the basic put together, the basic layout of the thing, and then there are lots and lots of different ways that you could decorate it. But if you go flip it back over to the front of it here, you'll see that you can make a single box, you can make a double box, you can sort of stack them up a bit. And then the lid can be made in different ways because you can actually have a little raised up part on the lid here, or you can have this where it's stepped down inside. And I would imagine that that's possible to make that into a shaker element as well. So you're getting a set of layering ovals, which is always fantastic. I love to see that in a die set where you can get lots of things that aren't necessarily just essential to use with this die set. And then this one as well, which is a beautiful bookmark or whatever, and you don't have to use this outside edge on it at all with the glue tabs on. And then this is just really actually lots of beautiful things here. So you could make a frame around your card without even using these. You could do this and frame a sentiment with this one and another one beside it. And then of course this beautiful decorative border as well here. Now obviously that looks like it's for the lid, but you could use that on the border of a card down the side, or trim it and use it anywhere on a card. And beautiful little floral elements as well, so lots and lots going on in that one. Now we'll have a very quick look at the diamond one. So this is the one with 23 dies, and again the instructions don't look difficult in there. They look similar to the other one, and certainly we'll come back to that in a minute or two, but this also looks like you could do the same thing with adding a layer, the lid sort of sitting up or down in as well there, and stackable also. So moving on to this, we've got lovely little sort of rounded diamond shapes, and those could be used on their own as well. You've got this sentiment, with this one says with love and it's your special day, and of course you can use those on cards or all sorts of things as well, and as well as these layering diamonds and the layering ovals on the other set that I showed you. And then this beautiful little sort of daisy type flower set here, and here, and these gorgeous little leaves, which I reckon you should have sort of keep an idea where they are in your supplies or your stash somewhere, because you'll use those time and time again for lots of other things. And again, a beautiful panel to decorate the sides of this, but that obviously can be used as the central panel in a card, or it could be used as a bookmark along with this, and then another gorgeous border die as well. Right, I'm going to go and get some card and I'll be right back. It will show you on the instructions here how many pieces of each of these shapes that you need to cut out. So I've actually gone ahead and done all of that, but I'm going to show you how to make the lid first of all. So we're going to use these oval pieces. You can see I have 2 ovals joined together here, but what I've done is I've placed the larger one, that's the one with the cutting edge, on the inside of it there if you look closely, and then this one with the debossed part on it, and I've joined those together. But to get the placement on that, I've used this medium one, and while they were sort of not joined together but on top of my card, I placed that one in, and then I put tape over these two to hold them together, and then I've run them through the die cutting machine twice, but I've kept the tape really firmly attached to that when I took it off and used it for the second time, sorry, because that means then that this oval is exactly the same here. Obviously it's the same shape, but if you've got it slightly off just the way you've placed it on top of the larger one, then it wouldn't fit exactly properly, and that way if you hold both of these together, that gets these perfectly identical to move on to the next part. So now I have used this die to cut out two pieces, and these are the pieces that attach around the outside of these ovals, and these two together then form a lovely decorative panel, and I've cut that out twice as well, but I've cut this out in gold card and it wants to sort of curl the other way, so I'm just going to leave these to the end and add them on right at the very end, because sometimes whenever you're adding two of those on together, it's actually better to leave them until this part's attached, because you don't necessarily always get them in the right place. So I have folded back all these little tabs, but you don't want to fold these glue tabs back. Those just need to get glued together here and then here at the other side. Then you can go ahead with this piece, and to attach this one in, all you need to do is put glue around the outer edge of that and pop it in here, and you'll see this is it without the glue, just to show you. Once you pop that in and hold that down, that will keep all of this in place and keep that in perfect shape. Then we can fold that over, and all you need to do then is cover that on the other side, and that covers up all those little glue tabs. I've taken this little die and I've cut that out twice, and I've given it a little curl with my folding bone folder, and then I've joined one end here, and I'm just going to join the other end. Now you don't fold this back, although you need to fold all these other little tabs back, so these tabs are just for gluing on here. And then you can see this little oval is actually the piece that came out of the center whenever I cut these two dies together to give me this shape. So I've held on to these, and I can add one of these into the center of this once this glue has grabbed. So to do that, all I need to do then is put some glue around the very outside edge of that and pop it in here. I'm just going to show you it without glue first of all. We'll just possibly make it easier by folding one of these back at the moment, one side. Now you can take the second one of these and turn this over and glue that directly on top, and it covers all of those little glue tabs. Now we've got these two shapes, and I should say first of all that this isn't exactly the way it tells you on the instructions, but it's just the way that it sort of seemed logical to me, so you can follow along whichever way you like. This little piece then is going to go in here, and those tabs will get folded out over the front there, and then we can add this other piece on top, and that covers all of the tabs on both sides, because these ones will be showing there as well. And before I do that, I want to add a piece of acetate onto the back of that. So this is some construction weight acetate from Tonic, and it's I've cut it out with the middle die that I used just for placement here, and that means it's just slightly smaller than the large oval for the lid there, but well big enough to cover the whole way around there. Now you can attach that with glue, or you can attach it with double-sided tape. High-tack tape actually would probably be the best, but I do use glue for this quite often, and so long as you leave it long enough to settle and set, there's not any problem with it. So I'm going to do that, and then I can just let it attach itself while I'm working away here with the other piece, and I'll show you what I'm doing with that. So just add glue along there. Don't be worried about glue on acetate. It works perfectly fine so long as you're not trying to rush it anywhere. So while that's all setting and I've just put it aside, I've taken this die again, the one with the detail around the outside and the cutting edge on the inside, and I've cut some lovely patterned paper because I wanted to make a little Christmas decoration with this one, or a little Christmas box, and I'm going to put that inside there before I attach this on here. I've taken the Merry Christmas die from this set here, so that's Merry Christmas Candy Cane and Poinsettia die, and that's, if I remember right, that was cut from one of the Christmas Icons set, and I've actually cut it out twice, so I've cut it out in white and in gold, and I've slightly offset them and just glued one on top of the other. I'm just going to line this up properly here at the end, and then I'm going to just glue that directly in there. Now you can see here that I'm really going with the Christmas theme and have incorporated other dies into this, but you don't have to do that at all. You can stick with what's in there and it's absolutely gorgeous. But because I'm actually making Christmas cards at the minute, I thought this would be a really nice way to show you an extension of your die set, but it doesn't have to be Christmas themed at all. In fact, how beautiful would that be with a wedding photograph in it, or a child's photograph or something, a little gift for grandparents with a photograph in there, or the little bride and groom that was on the another set that was released lately from one of the Silhouette gatefold frame die creators, I think it was. There's loads and loads of things, and you can actually just put lots of flowers in there, or a name and personalize it. Anything that you can think of that would be really beautiful in there would look gorgeous. Now I'm going to add some little shaker elements or something in there, and then I'm going to pop this on top, and there we have it. I've got a mixture of some sequins, and then I've got iridescent circles. These are confetti pieces, and you can just add a mixture in there and then go ahead, and that is rock solid hard now. There's no problem at all with that glue and the acetate. So once I get that on there, I'll glue it directly on there using the same Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. Now I can go ahead and add the rest of the decorative details onto the lid before I make the little box. So I've got these panels cut, and you can see there where I have used the pieces at the side, just glued them together, and that's halfway down the side there. So if you turn this around, you'll notice there are two little debossed lines there, just two little marks, but that gives you a guide as to where these go, so that they cover the join in that piece there, and that will come from one of those debossed marks to the other, right the way around there on one side, and then you'll pop the other one on the other side. And then I'm going to go ahead with the other one of these, glue the white piece onto the gold and put that on there. Now onto the actual box itself. So this is the smaller oval, and that makes actually the base for the box, because obviously the smaller one needs to fit inside the lid. And there we have the lid, and obviously you can see that that's a bit smaller. So I've got two of these, because I'm going to make this up in the same way as I made this little tiny part for the inside there. So I have these two pieces ready, and then I have cut two of these and two decorative panels. Now obviously I could have cut the really beautiful intricate pattern, but just for this one I wanted to add some Christmas paper on, so I've only used the rectangular one, and I have glued these on, as you can see here, just in a way that shows you that I've left a little gap at the bottom bigger than the other one, and if you follow the debossed lines there just inside this glue tab, you can see that I've kept it up to the top there, and that's to leave a little room for this piece that's going to go on the bottom, and I have that one ready to go on there. But first of all, I need to add the two sides together just by this glue tab, and then we'll go ahead and add the little base in the way we did before, taking care, if you are actually using patterned paper, that don't fold this, of course, taking care that this needs to be the right way up. This is the base of the box. Now I'm going to add the base into this in exactly the same way as I did with this one, and you'll see that I keep these seams, as I call them, the joins, out at the sides, and the long oval part will go in this way, and I've got the good side facing up, and then you'll be able to see that there are two little marks, where are they? Here and here, and that is the center of this, and then that will give me guidelines for putting the rest of it on. But I just think that it makes a more stable box if the joins are on the long side there. So I'm going to go ahead and add glue onto this piece, set it down in there, this way up, sorry, and then when I turn that over, I'll put the other piece on top of that, and that will strengthen that. Now I'm going to go ahead and add these little pieces on. So I've cut the basic shape out first of all, and then the little decorative piece has been glued on top of that, and that gives you lots and lots of little bits of swirly pieces like this, oops, like that, that you can use on cards and all sorts of things as well. So you might want to hold on to some of those at least. Anyway, I am going to go and add this on here. So this edge here will line up perfectly well with this one, and I'll just glue it right around the base here, and that's why I've left this further up so that the gap is wider here. And when I do that, I'm going to add one on first and then glue the two of them together and attach them both at the end. I think that turned out really well. You may want to add the papers on so that the seams are down here and they align with these ones, but I like to have these long ones and these pieces, I just like to have that in the center because I think it's stronger there and it keeps them into a better shape than having them at the side. But what I intend to do now is go and look through my other die sets and find some snowflakes, and I'll be adding some on here and here and around here, and then that's it finished. I had some gorgeous little snowflake dies and then this bigger one from the Tonic magazine a little while back. That's all the other dies in there, and I've added some on here so you can see them up here and here and here, and then where this bigger join was, then I added the snowflake right down the join, and it just fits on really well below just where that lid comes on there. I wanted to show you the other pieces that can go on here, the decorative detail, but I didn't necessarily want to just add them onto this, so I have made a couple of things with them, and I'm going to show you how I've done that. Well, I've taken the little dies here. These are the Loaded Pockets Oval Embroidery Hoop die set. So you could use anything with an oval and even add just a little punched hole at the top and a ribbon, but I've used this one as the base. I actually just took the largest one out here because this oval from here is similar kind of dimension, and I've used this one in pearled ivory pearlescent card, and then I've taken the one that's just inside that. I've put some white on there, and then the beautiful ornate pattern here from this die set right on top there, and then the For You and the piece behind have been cut with the two little dies from the set as well. So I've used both of them together in gold to get this one, and I've used just the plain one to get with the pearled ivory in the back, and you can see there I've added that up on 3D foam pads just to give a little bit of dimension. And then the little flowers from the die set as well, because I used the snowflakes from a different set on that one. I thought I'd show you the flowers in this one because they're really pretty. So I've layered them up in gold and put some pearled ivory on the top and some honey gold glitter drops just into the center, and that's just another way of using that, although you could put these decorative ones on top of this instead. Then I have taken the long one that would go on a strip around here, and I have used the plain one in pearled ivory, and then the other one, the two together, in the gold. And instead of making a long strip with it this time, which I'll go ahead and show you what I've done for the next part of the video. Instead of doing this and using it for the side, this time I've created what looks essentially like a little cuff, but what I have done is just curled it around a little bit with my bone folder, and then glued the ends of it together, just overlapped and held that really, really tightly. And I think that makes a really strong, sturdy, but very, very pretty little napkin ring. So I'll show you that at the end with a little napkin through it as well. Then finally on this one, there is this beautiful little handle as well. Now, because I have got this wording inside, I didn't want to put the handle on there, but I could do that and put it onto the acetate with some high-tack tape. So that's that as well. Then obviously I could go ahead and make another little box exactly the same as this one, perfectly the same as this one, and with this little feet area on it, this little base on it, and that makes that stackable. Set another one on top or even in below that and put this little lid on, and it's a very stackable little box. In fact, you could put as many layers as you like on it, but that's just another idea with it. So now, as you see, I've gone ahead and cut some other pieces out, and I'm going to come back with the little diamond one. Moving on to the diamond box then, I've cut out the two small diamonds for the base of the box, and I decided not to use the little panels that I'd cut out and showed you on the last video clip there, but instead of that I've cut out the decorative panel then in gold, and the pearled ivory is in behind there. And I'm going to keep these to the very end and not add them onto the panels until I have these all attached. So again, we're going to add these on here around the outside of the diamond, and not fold these glue tabs back, but we'll fold these ones. And you can see this time there are little gaps, so there's a glue tab missing here and here, and that is the area that you're going to align with the sort of curved area here. I've curved these with my bone folder, and you can see on these areas here, this is where they're going to go on here. So I'm going to put glue on the inside of these little glue tabs and put this in so that you can see there where this gap is, and then whenever I've got that glued on, I will show you how you can see it from the underside there, and you'll see those glued on with this little space, and maybe that will show it a little bit more clearly. I've glued along that longer side there, and you can see then that the little gaps are here and here, and I can go ahead now and glue those tabs on there, just curving that around, and then I can add the other piece on in exactly the same way and join it all up. I've added the second base on over the glue tabs there just to cover all of those, and then I've glued my little panels onto the sides, and you can see there are two little nicks or two little marks there and there, and that's at both sides there, and that will help you line these up, and that way they cover up the seams here in it as well. I've left the seams showing in the other one and then covered it with little snowflakes, but in this one I wanted to show you how to do it the other way. Whenever you're adding this part on, it's actually better to put the patterned part onto the white part first, and then you can glue it on here, and you'll be able to see right there where the pattern joins this one, and then your little fold line or little glue tab, actually, which isn't really a fold line, will be there, and you can add the next piece directly on top and carry it right on round with that, and that way it all lines up perfectly. I've used these two dies together then the same way as I did for the oval one, skipping out the one in the centre, and I've cut that out twice. Now I've actually cut it out once in white and once in gold, so hopefully I'll be able to use this gold one. I like the look of that. Anyhow, I've then taken this die and I've cut that one out twice, and I have joined the two together there, and I've curled it with my bone folder, and I'm just going to now put glue on these little tabs and position this in so that the rounded points or rounded curved ends there are going in all the right places the whole way around, and then join this up at the end. Now I want to make the little lid that sits up for this one, so I'm going to add that on here, and I have taken this little die and I've cut that out twice and just joined it on there, and then this is the little piece that came out of the center of this one here. It's a little sharp diamond is what I would call it, as opposed to all the rounded ones that we've been using. And what I'm going to do now is attach this the whole way around here. So I'm going to glue this panel and just keep folding around until I have all of that joined together. The glue's all grabbed in that one, so all I need to do now is pop that through there, and then you can see that these glue tabs are coming through here, and I'll fold all of those back, adhere them there, and then I'll have the gold part that I cut out earlier that I can slide down over. That will be quite tight, but it does fit because it's exactly the same shape. And then I've also got the piece that came out of the center of this, which I can glue on there, and then I can go ahead and decorate it from there. I've gone ahead quite a little bit with this now because there wasn't much to be gained by going into all of this in detail, because I've really done it all on the previous box. But anyhow, I really love this little embossing detail, so I recut that diamond there, and I used this beautiful little die in the center of it, and that just debosses it, but it made it really lovely, and I glued that directly on top. And then I cut this one with white, this one and this one together in gold, and I've popped those up on 3D foam pads up on top of there. Then I've taken the two dies that make the lovely patterned detail around here, and I've cut this one out in white and then the little detailed one on top in gold, and I have glued those on there. I've actually moved them back a little bit so that they're not covering all of this gold up. I wanted to see a little bit of that gold detail still in there as well. And then now that I've got all of that done, I'm going to go ahead with the little strips that I can put on here, and I'm going to, I think actually this time I will glue them across this way so that there's no join there. And you can see I'm not too sure whether I just slipped this up or what happened here, but it's not perfectly aligned, and I'm going to cover that anyhow, but I just wanted you to see that I haven't got it perfect. But that doesn't matter because I'm actually going to add my little flowers on there and some foliage, and that won't be visible anyway. So if you've done that as well, don't worry about it. Put a little flower on it and we'll have some foliage, maybe another couple of little flowers, because I'm going to use flowers in this anyhow, and that will all be fine in the end. That's it all finished now, and I've added one of the beautiful flowers and some leaves up at the top there. Maybe just move that in below there and clean that off. And I have a flower and leaves down here and here, and I think it looks beautiful. Now there is a little die that you could put some pattern on here, but I think I'm going just to leave that white because I have rather a lot of gold and pattern on it, and I'm just going to leave that as it is. That's the two little boxes side by side, and obviously you could use this raised up lid on this one in the oval shape, the one that comes in this kit, this die set, and obviously then the vice versa is applicable as well, because you could have the raised up lid in the oval set right on top of that one instead, and you can just switch those around a bit. Then the little handle that I showed you for here, you could obviously put a handle on this one And you could use all those dies to do all of these different things that I've done here, with all the different bits and pieces from the kits as well, of these little die sets. That's actually all I'm going to do right now with them, and I hope you've enjoyed that. I wanted to make a Christmas one, obviously, but then because I like my samples to be coordinated, I've made another one in the same colours, but it's not Christmassy in any shape or form, so don't forget that you can do that as well. It would make a beautiful little box for a baby gift or something like that, and then you could use patterned paper here that would suit as well on either of them, and both of them are obviously stackable as well, so just another layer. At the moment I don't have time to make one, but you could make another one of these, stack that up, and this bit then will cover where that joins and hold the two together, and the same thing is applicable on this one. So that's it all finished, and thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to give me a big, big thumbs up and leave me a little comment. My affiliate links to everything I've used will be down below in the description, and everybody who uses those is supporting me and supporting my channel, because I get a little commission in that, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. Your price still stays the same, but it does help me. So thank you so, so much. In the meantime, happy crafting. Thank you. Bye bye.